Good evening and namaste. The divine essence that flows through me greets and acknowledges the divine essence in all of us. So good evening. And before I get into our program, we have a wonderful addition to our service tonight in that we have Louise back, who is a oneness blessing giver, and we might even have another one join us. She said she might be here. But in any event, we've got Louise, so we are going to be able to give oneness blessings again. We were doing them regularly a few months ago, and then people's schedules got all changed around, and we ended up not having them for a while. But now Louise is back, and for those of you that don't know what a oneness blessing is, they're a really wonderful energy transfer. At last count, I think they're Again, I'm getting an energy hit on this because it just fills me right up. I think something in the vicinity of 1 million blessing givers. They're worldwide. They have they've given hundreds of millions of blessings, and they give regular events all over the country, and we have that just going around right here in Florida. So they're going to share that with us this evening, and I'm hoping to make that a regular event. And so with all that, we can get into now the program for this evening, or the theme for this evening, which is our connectedness with all things. And that's, I think, a very appropriate subject for spreading some oneness around, because we are all connected. And it goes to this book called Primary Perception. It was written by Cleve Baxter, who was a FBI researcher researching the polygraph machine for the FBI back in the early 60s. And Cleve used to work at night in his little office in New York doing his research work on this polygraph machine, and it gets a little boring. I guess boring is the word for it at night there in New York City. And so he decided he needed something to do just to occupy his time. So he decided to hook the polygraph machine up to a rubber tree plant that was in his office. He figured, okay, I'm going to put some water on the plant and just see how long it takes for that water to get up into the leaves, and just see if that gives me any kind of a reaction on the polygraph. Well, he did that, and nothing really happened of any significance. So he said, maybe I can do something else to just see if the machine is working, to see if it's actually reading the energy of this rubber tree plant. I think I'll just get a match and I'll burn one of its leaves. So he gets up and he looks around the office, and matches weren't hard to find in those days because people were still smoking. And he found a match, and he walked over to the rubber tree plant. And in the process of walking over to the rubber tree plant, he saw this on the chart. And you can see that you probably can't read the labels on this, but the lower part of the line on the left was what the rubber tree plant was doing while all that other stuff was going on. And then as soon as he had the thought, not the intention, but just had the thought, I think I'll try burning the leaf and see what happens. You see that huge spike. And then he gets up and he starts looking for the matches, and he must have got preoccupied, and the plant settled down for a split second. Then he must have found the matches, and the plant went into total panic. I don't remember whether he ever actually burned the leaf or not, but I think he stopped short of doing that, because you can see the plant settled back down after a few minutes. He went on and did many, many experiments on this, and with all sorts of plants, because he thought maybe it was just something to do with pheromones or something of that nature. Maybe something that Indian rubber plants do. Who knows? He actually tried it with he learned that they were interconnected with the bacteria in the sink. He poured some excess hot coffee that was in, it gets stale in the coffee maker, down the drain, and he noticed he got a spike on the plant. And then he couldn't figure out what that was. And suddenly it dawned on him, there were probably bacteria in the drain of that sink that when they poured the hot water down there, they basically went into the shock reaction from the hot water, and the plant felt that and registered it. He kept doing this and got continuous confirming results, and got some grants to do some research. He he started doing it with blood samples. He would take a blood sample from himself or saliva sample from someone else, put the blood sample in another room, and then put the electrodes into the sample. He'd go into the other room and then just have the intention that he's going to prick his finger with a lancet. Let's say where you would take a blood sample for if you had diabetes. And the second he had that thought, his blood sample in the other room registered a reaction. He kept doing this and doing it and doing it and taking it further and further. Ended up working with people on the opposite side of the country. He took some of his blood and saliva samples and blood and saliva samples from other people, shipped them clear across the country. They hooked the blood samples up to a polygraph. They coordinated their time. They had telephones in those days, not cell phones, but they had telephones. And lo and behold, clear across the country, they got this instantaneous reaction whenever they decided they were going to do something as simple as prick their finger with a pin or something like that. Anything to bring on a reaction within the nervous system. Then they went a step further and tried it with people that were long-term meditators. So they would take one meditator and ship them somewhere 100 miles away, leave the one meditator with them, hook polygraphs up to both of them, and give light flashes into the eyes of one of the meditators. And they actually found that the meditator 100 miles away in the polygraph room was getting this spike every time the light flashed into the eyes of someone that he had meditated with for a long time. So there's this part of us that is continually hooked up to this energy of that which created all things, that interconnects all things. So when we say that we are one with all things, I think Cleve kind of showed it to us. And there have been other researchers that have done similar things. There's a fellow by the name of Rupert Sheldrake who wrote the book, How Dogs Know When Their Owners Are Coming Home. If any of you have dogs or pets that do that, that know when you're coming home, he did all sorts of experiments with that, showed that interconnectedness between people and their pets. Dr. Bernard Schwartz? No, Dr. Gary Schwartz, the University of Alabama, has been working for years just running his own experiments on very similar things. It all was manifested together into a beautiful movie documentary called The Secret Life of Plants. If you can find it, I think it's around still. I saw it on Netflix not that long ago. It's a really interesting movie. Shows how that really works. So with that, we will now get into our meditation now that we've had our little lesson on oneness, and how we really are all connected in oneness. Let's get into our own vibrational attunement with the Tibetan bowls and the crystal bowls. So as we get ready to go into the meditative phase of our evening, just reflect on this insight by Jean Houston, well-known writer, mystic, amazing person in and of herself, on the subject of Cleve Baxter's discoveries. Rigorous science and intrepid investigation reveal what children and mystics have known all along, that consciousness pervades everything, and thus all living things can respond to each other. And our meditation this evening will appropriately take us into the realm of communication with trees and plants, that we are in constant communication with in our daily breath. So whenever you're ready to relax more deeply, just begin by noticing your breathing. With every in-breath, just feel the beautiful, sacred, loving energy of this sacred space flowing into your body and just flowing out to every single cell, every part of you. With every out-breath, just let it be a letting go kind of breath. Letting go of whatever it is you don't need. As you continue to breathe in, just feel that sacred energy that resides here. The energy of millions of prayers that have been offered in this space. And that energy has been absorbed into every particle, every fiber of this space. And it lives here. And when we add our energy to that space, it builds and increases the energy of these intentions and prayers that we offer here, many-fold. And miraculous things happen. So on your next in-breath, just feel that energy of the universe. And just know that those particles of air that you just breathed have been through every living being and every plant that has resided on this planet and has ever resided on this planet. And when you exhale, you're exhaling the air that has been through every wonderful person on this planet that we know of in our history. The air you just breathed has been through Mohammed, and Buddha, and Jesus. And Moses, and Abraham, and Martin Luther King, and Gandhi, every wonderful planet, every wonderful person that has ever been on this planet has breathed that same air. And it's also been breathed by every animal on this planet. And every animal that has ever been on this planet. And it gets absorbed into the seas. And it's been used to nurture every marine creature, every whale, every dolphin, every fish. Recycled over and over and over. And how does it get so that we can breathe it over and over? It's absorbed into every tree and every plant, all of the carbon dioxide that we exhale out is absorbed by every living plant of every shape and description around us. And through that magical process that plants only know. Man doesn't know how that happens. The plants breathe out breathable air. So at that level, the air that we breathe, we are connected at a very, very deep level with every plant that habitates this planet. So we have a beautiful Qigong meditation called a tree and plant meditation, where we connect with trees and plants and connect with their energy field. Because even science knows that what's true on one level is true on every level. So if we connect with all of these plants on the level of our breath, we certainly connect with them on the level of our consciousness. So begin by just envisioning a tree, a beautiful tree, a healthy tree, one that feels right for you. Whatever tree that comes into your mind that just feels right. And just know that whatever vision you get of a tree is exactly what you need. And this is the process that Qigong practitioners and medical doctors, Qigong medical doctors that is, have used for thousands of years to help build their energy field, to help bring healing energy, channel healing energy to those in need, long before there were modern doctors. So just begin by allowing yourself to reach out and touch this tree. This beautiful creation of that which created all things. Just connect with its bark and feel the texture, the little ridges. And just notice what that feels like. Maybe you can just feel what that tree is thinking in its consciousness right now. What it's feeling as it sits there with its branches in the heavens, and its leaves collecting the energy of the sun and the moon and the stars and the air from this planet, the carbon dioxide from this planet that comes into its leaves and into its system and goes through that process of transformation. And just notice what that feels like. And also feel its connectedness to the earth, how its roots go down deep, deep, deep into the earth. connecting with the water, bringing the water and the earth energy up its roots. Feel that energy flowing up its roots and into its trunk and into that space wherever the tree has its heart, its core, that energy that knows how to do this process of converting carbon dioxide to oxygen and nitrogen and creating the air that we need to breathe. Now just release the tree for a moment and just feel its energy field. Feel your energy field merging with that of the tree. We do this with people that are undergoing various treatments, especially cancer treatments, allowing them to replenish their energy field with the energy of the tree. And don't worry, you're not going to hurt the tree. The tree is a constant source of energy that we can draw on. So if it feels right for you, just imagine yourself, or if you want to do it with your hands, just reach out and just draw some of that energy into your heart space. And just notice what that feels like. Feeling the energy that this beautiful tree is bringing to you from the atmosphere and the earth and all of the planets, the sun and the moon and the stars, just a resource of energy for you to just draw into your being. And feel that energy penetrating your body and nurturing every single cell, spreading out to every part of you. And reach out with your other hand and just draw a little of that energy in with your opposite hand into your heart space. And your heart knows exactly what to do with that energy. And just continue to reach and draw that energy into your heart space. First with your right hand, and then with your left hand. And just notice what's happening. You feel a tingling in your hands? You feel that energy circulating in and around your body, down your legs, into your feet, where you're connecting with the Gaia Earth energy? Now, when you think you've had enough earth energy and heavenly energy from the tree, just thank the tree for being your energy resource. And allow it to go back to being a tree. And when it feels right for you, allow another image to form of a beautiful plant, maybe a flowering plant, maybe your favorite flowering plant, maybe lots of flowering plants. See yourself completely surrounded by beautiful, loving, flowering plants in whatever color feels right for you. Allow their color and their beauty to just radiate around you. Just notice what that feels like. Notice the texture and the color of the leaves and the stems. If there's branches, any beautiful fragrances coming from the flowers. Just notice what that feels like. If it feels right for you, you can reach out and touch a petal or a leaf. Connect with the plant. Now, again, just either using your spiritual hands or your physical hands, reach out and gather up some of that beautiful, loving energy from those flowers, that flowering plant, and draw it into your body. Feel that beauty and the fragrance and that essence of all the love that exists within that plant to create that beautiful image for you of flowers and leaves and color. Just allow that to permeate every part of your being. And draw that into your heart. Just notice what that feels like. And just keep doing that. Drawing that beautiful energy in. And notice what that feels like. Feel that love and compassion of the energy that created all of that. The trees, the flowers, the plants. That energy that resides within all of them. Penetrating you, nurturing you, nurturing every single cell. And if you have any part of you that is less than the divine perfection that you really are, that is feeling less than perfect, on a physical level, maybe a disease or just not feeling right. Or you have an emotional issue or a stressful issue troubling you. Or maybe a prosperity issue. If you breathe in that beautiful energy of those beautiful loving plants, just like the exchange of the oxygen and the carbon dioxide in your body, just allow that to be absorbed by the carbon dioxide you're about to breathe out, and breathe out any of that energy that is not serving you. And if there's any part of you that energy seems to have taken up occupancy in your body that might be manifesting itself as a feeling of stiffness or soreness or anything that is less than your divine perfection, just when you're in-breath, just draw that energy out of that space that isn't serving you and breathe it out. And continue that process, breathing it in, drawing that energy out of whatever part of you is less than your divine perfection, and breathing it out. And just notice what all these beautiful flowers and plants and trees are doing. They're taking that energy and absorbing it. And through that magical process that they use to transfer carbon dioxide into their bodies and create fresh oxygen for us to breathe. They do the same thing with that energy that isn't serving you. They draw it in and they breathe out beautiful, healing, loving energy that transforms anything within you that is not your highest expression. They transform that into the absolute highest expression of what you really are. Now as we go into that part of our meditation where we go within, I invite you to just hold that image of being surrounded by beautiful, loving plants, exchanging their energy for yours and purifying and nurturing every single cell in your body. For any of you that would like one of us to come to you for hands-on energy work, you can raise your hand. If someone doesn't come to you immediately, you can lower your hand and wait a few minutes and then raise it again when someone comes free. Know that while we are with you, we are holding the image of your divine perfection and seeing you in the light of all that is. Now from this place of connectedness with all living things, feeling this in every cell of our body. Just take a moment and thank all these beautiful plants and flowers and trees, and all living things for being part of this beautifully complex ecosystem that nurtures this entire planet. And just hold the intention that with people like us that feel that love and compassion for all things, we can heal everything that this planet needs to bring it back to its perfect expression. And just visualize that with all rivers clear and free of any pollutants and running beautifully bright blue, our forests totally restored, our wildlife restored and healthy, our habitat sustainable for our children and grandchildren, people living together and helping one another. As we begin to come back to this space of our seats and back into our physical bodies, just take a moment to nurture and love yourself just the way you are at this present moment. And remember to nurture and love yourself every day and rediscover the true essence of your being. We will close the meditation this evening with this insight by Rumi, reflecting on oneness in it. Again, Rumi showing his sense of humor. Neither I am me, nor you are you, nor you are me. Also, I am me, and you are you, and you are me. We have become one in such a way that I am confused as to whether I am you or you are me. And now bring our hands to our hearts and just once more feeling this energy of love and compassion flowing in and around us. Bring our fingertips to our forehead and take a bow to the highest aspect of who we really are. And coming back up, taking a bow to one another, wishing peace and happiness, peace and happiness, peace and happiness. Namaste. Thank you all for coming this evening. You bring wonderful energy with you. Spread that energy around.